Nationalism, Bayani and Kabayanihan. So learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the student should be able to interpret views and opinions about Bayani and Kabayanihan in the context of Philippine history and society. Asset the concept of Bayani and Kabayanihan in the context of society, in the context of Philippine society. So, hero versus Bayani. So, hero versus Bayani. A hero is a person in admire for courage, nobility, or achievements, often defined by individual acts of valors. The term bayani, however, is a Filipino word that has a richer community-focused meaning, referring to someone who served the bayan, community, or nation. While a hero act alone, a bayan is a person committed to the greater good of their community, and this commitment can extend to ordinary acts of service, not just grand gesture of sacrifice. Bayani and Kabayanihan. So, what is Bayani and Kabayanihan? So, Bayani is the Filipino spirit of communal unity and cooperation, while Kabayanihan is the act of heroism that arises from this spirit. Bayanihan involves a community working together to help one another, especially during times of needs, without expecting anything in return. Kabayanihan is an act of heroism either by an individual or a group that serve a common cause, emphasizing selfishness and collective actions over individual achievements. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My topic is the changing forms and definition of bayani and kabayanihan. So the meanings of bayani is a hero and kabayanihan is heroism. And Filipino culture have evolved over time. Traditionally, bayani referred to warriors who fought for freedom, protected the community, and sacrificed their lives for the nation. But today, the concept has expanded. Heroism is no longer limited to fighting in wars. Modern heroes include ordinary people who help the community protect the environment, fight for the human rights, and improve society in everyday ways. So, in simple terms, bayani, a hero, a person who defends the land, is called bayani, shows bravely during conflicts, willing to sacrifice life for the nation. Kabayanihan means heroism, acts of courage, battles, or revolutions, serving the country even at great personal cost. The example is sila Andres Bonifacio, who fought for independence during the Philippine Revolution. And then si Jose Rizal sacrificed his life to awaken nationalism. Then lastly, si Gabriela Silang lead a revolt against colonizer. Tapos, and the modern contemporary view, today, a bayani is no longer just a warrior heroism. Now includes everyday acts that contribute to the common good. The modern heroism includes helping the community, promoting justice and human rights, protecting nature, saving lives or the medical workers, tapos serving overseas to support families like the OFW. So, ang OFW called Bagong Bayani for supporting families and the country. Health workers during COVID-19 risked their lives to save others. Tapos teachers shaping the nation through education. Tapos environmental defenders protecting forests, oceans, and indigenous land. So,
Magandang araw, ma'am. Ngayon, ay ipapaliwanag ko ang pinagmulan at kahulugan ng salitang bayani at kung paano ito maikokonekta sa ideya na ang mga OFW ay tinatawag na modern-day heroes. Ang salitang bayani sa Pilipinas. Ang Ang bayani ay isang Austronesian na salita na galing pa sa ating mga katutubo. Noon, ang bayani ay hindi lang basta matapang. Sila ang mga mandirigma na nangunguna sa pagtatanggol ng kanilang pamayanan laban sa mga kaaway at panganib. No, so sa una ang mga bayani kay kuan. Hindi lang sila basta matapang, no. Sila ang mga mandirigma na nangunguna sa pagtanggol. Sila ang tagapagtanggol sa pamayanan laban sa mga kaaway at panganib. So, ibig sabihin, ang kabayanihan noon ay palaging para sa kapakanan ng buong bayan. Sa kultura ng ating mga ninuno, may iba't ibang antas ng pagiging bayani. Ito ay nakabatay sa tapang at dami ng kaaway na kanilang natalo. So, sa kultura ng ating mga ninuno, na ay klase-klase nga mga bayani, no? So, nakadepende sa tapang o sa kadagang nga ilang napatay nga mga kaaway. So, ang una ay ang maniklad. So, ang maniklad, sila ang pinakamababang antas. So ang maniklad, so murag sila ang may pinakamahina ba kung ano. Sila ang nakapatay ng isa o dalawang kaaway, no? So isa o duha ra gyud ang ilang napatay. Karaniwang suot nila ay pula at dilaw na putong. So ang putong kana bitang na murag ginapatong sa ulo, kanang murag scarf ba na, pero ang color ana nila is dilaw o pula. Ang ikaduha ay at ang pangalawa ay ang hunagan. Hunagan ba ni? Wait lang mama. Hanagan di ay hanagan. Sila ay dumadaan sa isang ritual kung saan dapat silang sapian ni Tagbusawa, ang Diyos ng pakikipagdigma. So ang kadua kay mo ni ang hanagan, no? So lahi po din sila dapat kay kanang na sila mga ritual nga buhaton nga dapat sapian sila ni Tagbusawa. So si Tagbusawa siya ang Diyos ng pakikipagdigma. Kailangan din nilang kainin ang atay at puso ng kaaway, biglang bahagi ng ritual. So kung mapatay na gani nila to ilang kaaway, no, kauna pag nila ang atay ug ang ilang puso. Lahi din hanagan. So pula ang suot nilang putong. So ang kanipot sa ilaha, ang ilang ginasuot kay pula nga putong. Pangatlo, ang kinabuan. Ang kinabuan mapud ni ang nakapatay og 20 hanggang 27. So grabe daghan kay ilang napatay, no? 20 to 27 ang ilang napatay. Kilala sila sa pagsuot ng pulang pantalon. Kanipong si kinabuan nakasuot po ni sila og pulang pantalon. Pang-apat, ang ikaapat ay ang luto, no? Ang luto nakapatay ng 50 hanggang 100 kaaway. So grabe daghan gid kayo, no? 50 to 100 ang ilang napatay nga kaaway. Sila naman ay nagsusuot ng pulang jacket. So nakapula sila og jacket. At ang pinakamataas sa lahat ay ang lunogom, no? Ang lunogom. So ang lunogom ang pinakamagiting at paborito ni Tagbusaw. So mao gini paborito daw ni Tagbusaw ang pinakamataas kay kaning si Lunogom. Paborito ni Tagbusaw dahil sila ang nakakapatay ng kaaway mismo sa loob ng tirahan nito, no? So grabe ka kuya, mapatay nila ilang kaaway bisan na sila sa sulod sa ilang balay. Itim naman ang karaniwang suot nila, so black ang ilang ginasuot. Makikita natin dito na ang pagiging bayani noon ay nakabatay sa matinding katapangan, sakripisyo at paglilingkod para sa bayan. Kung ihambing natin ito sa mga OFW ngayon, ibang-iba naman ang larangan. Pero parehong may sakripisyo at pagsusumikap para sa kapakanan ng kanilang pamilya at ng buong bansa. So kay ang mga OFW kay lisod pud ba yang ilang lisod ba makipagsapalaran sa ibang bansa. Layo sa pamilya para mahatagan og kanang magandang buhay at tumulong sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Kaya masasabi natin na mula noon hanggang ngayon ay isang bayani ay hindi lang tungkol sa pakikipagdigma, ito ay tungkol sa pagsasakripisyo para sa mas malaking kabutihan para sa bayan. Maraming salamat po.
Good evening everyone, I am Arky Gamalo and tonight I will talk about Dr. Zeus A. Salazar and his idea of the Filipino Bayani. Dr. Zeus A. Salazar is the father of a new Philippine historiography and a Filipino historian who introduced the concept called Pantayong Pananaw. This means looking at our history from the point of view of Filipinos. According to him, a bayani is different from a Western hero. A Western hero usually fights alone and is often honored after death. But a Filipino bayani fights together with a community and most importantly come back to help the people. Salazar said, ang bayani ay hindi kailangang mamatay upang maging bayani. We can all be heroes even while we are alive, as long as we influence and help our bayan in positive ways. A bayani works for others, not just for himself. A bayani promotes teamwork, love of country, and care for the community. This shows that heroism is not just about big sacrifices. It can be found in everyday act of service. In conclusion, Dr. Salazar idea teaches us that anyone can become a bayani by serving and helping our community. We honor our country and continue the spirit of Filipino heroism. Thank you and mabuhay.
Good morning, everyone. My topic is the greatness of Jose Rizal and his national and international recognition. The greatness of Jose Rizal. Jose Rizal is honored as the greatest Filipino hero. Example, his novels No Limit ang Hiri and El Filibusterismo expose the injustices of Spanish colonial rule. These works awaken Filipino nationalism and give ordinary people a voice. He inspired Filipino through his writings, courage, and sacrifice. Rizal didn't lead armies, but his pen was uh, in his weapon. His essays and letters encouraged Filipinos to think critically about freedom and dignity. Even before his death, both Filipinos and foreigners admired him. Example, European scholars like Ferdinand Blumentritt praised his intellect, while Filipino reformists saw him as their guiding light. After execution, his leadership and intelligence were recognized worldwide. His martyrdom elevated him from reformist to symbol of resistance admired across nations. So Rizal courage and execution. On December 13, 1896, Rizal walked calmly to his execution by firing squad. Example, witnesses noted that he refused to be blindfolded, choosing to face death with dignity. Spaniards saw him as their intelligent and dangerous enemy. Explanation like armed rebels Rizal fought with ideas. The Spanish spurred his influence more than weapons. His death turned him into a symbol of Filipino bravery and patriotism. Example, his final name. He Ultimo Edius became a rallying cry for revolutionaries. Next is foreigners and his recognition. So, Ferdinand Blumentritt, close friend, praised Rizal's brilliance. For example, Blumentritt wrote that Rizal's mind was one of the most brilliant had ever known. Dr. Ross called him a pearl of a man. So, this metaphor shows how rare and valuable Rizal's intellect was considered in Europe. Napoleon Neil admired his representation of the Philippines. Example, Neil saw Rizal as the embodiment of Filipino culture and scholarship. Many Europeans respected him as the leading Filipino scholar. So, Rizal is a mastery of language. He spoke over 20 express European academics. So, that is. Next is Rizal and the Katipunan. The Katipunan admire Rizal's leadership. Example, even though Rizal did not join their armed struggle, they saw him as a moral leader. They made him honorary president. So this is symbolic act show their respect for his ideals. His family name, Rizal, was used to password his high-ranking members. Example, using his name as a secret code. reflected how deeply his influence penetrated revolutionary circles. So, honors after his death. In 1897, Emilio Aguinaldo and revolutionaries commemorated Rizal. Example, Aguinaldo declared December 30 as a day of mourning for Rizal. His name was invoked in speeches and poems. Uh, this is leaders use Rizal's memory to inspire unity and courage. Writers like Fernando Ma Guerrero and Cecilio Apostol honored him in poetry. Examples: Apostol poem Al Heroe Nacional praised Rizal's sacrifice as eternal. International honors. Sacrifice groups in Berlin, Austria, France, Holland, and London held services for Rizal. So, his death was not just a Philippine event, it resonated globally among intellectuals. Dr. Ed Saylor translated and recited Me Ultimo Adios and German. Example, this allowed Europeans to appreciate Rizal's final word in their own language. Rizal became global symbol for freedom and intelligence, so his life showed that colonial subjects could stand equal to European thinkers. So next, overall impact. Rizal writing continues inspire Filipinos and foreigners. So example, his novels is still studied in school today, shaping national identity. His martyrdom united Filipinos in fight for independence. So his death convinced many that peaceful reform was impossible foiling the revolution. His legacy lives on Philippine history and worldwide admiration. For example, monuments to Rizal exist not only in Manila but also in Madrid, Berlin, and Chicago. So the last is conclusions. Jose Rizal is remembered as the greatest Filipino hero because of his courage, intelligence, patriotism, and sacrifice. His writings and death inspired Filipino to fight for independence while his brilliance earned respect abroad. His legacy continues to guide the Philippines and inspire people worldwide. So that's all. Thank you. God bless.
Ma'am, my name is Cruzia Nicole Nialas. First, my report is Global Reaction to Rizal's Death. Filipinos and global intellectuals mourned Rizal's death. Scholars like Dr. Camilo Osias and Wenceslao Vitana honored him. Rizal received universal homage immediately after his execution. So, he was internationally admired during his lifetime, showing the broad recognition of his achievements. He was also called the most prominent man of his own people, reflecting his status and leadership among Filipinos. So, first is international admiration, and second is prominence among Filipinos. Third is lasting influence, and fourth is international admiration, and fifth is most prominent man of his people. So they are five examples of global reaction to Rizal's death. And the second is international honors. Scientific necrological service held by the Anthropological Society of Berlin, November 20, 1897. Dr. Ed Seller recited German translation of My Last Farewell. Newspapers worldwide publish accounts of his martyrdom. So, the influence after his martyrdom, tell the class that when Rizal was executed in 1896, his death inspired more Filipinos to join the revolution against Spain instead of ending the movement, emphasized that his martyrdom turned him into a powerful symbol of sacrifice and courage for freedom, and lasting impact of his works. Point out that his novels Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo helped awaken Filipino nationalism and are still studied today in schools. Conclude that because his ideas continue to shape Filipino identity and love for country more than those of other heroes, many consider him the greatest Filipino. And the third is William Cameron Forbes on Rizal. Forbes praised Rizal as the national hero of the Philippines. U.S. administration supported honoring Rizal. Monuments, postage stamps, and a national park were dedicated to him. So, first, say that some Filipinos believe Andres Bonifacio deserves to be national hero because he led the armed revolution and fought with weapons against Spain. Then, the critics of Rizal point out he did not join the armed struggle, so they see Bonifacio as more active in battle. Finally, give the counterpoint, Rizal fought using his writing and ideas, and many historians say his pen awakened Filipino nationalism and inspired others, including Bonifacio, to act, creating deep, long-lasting change. And fourth is Rizal versus Bonifacio debate. Some argue Bonifacio should be national hero instead of Rizal. Claims Rizal did not fight with weapons. Counterpoint, Rizal used the pen, leading to deeper and lasting change. So the Rizal versus Bonifacio debate is about who deserved to be seen as the main national hero of the Philippines. Some people favor Andres Bonifacio because he actually led the armed revolution because and fought with weapons against Spanish rule. Others defend Jose Rizal, saying that even though he did not fight in battle, his writing and peaceful reform ideas awakened Filipino nationalism and inspired revolutionaries, including Bonifacio himself. In short, Bonifacio represents direct action through armed struggle, and Rizal represents intellectual and moral leadership, fighting with the pen, which many believe created deeper and long-lasting change in Filipino society. And the last is why Rizal is considered the greatest Filipino. Admired internationally during his lifetime, described as the most prominent man of his own people, his influence grew even more after his martyrdom, and his works had more lasting impact than other heroes. So, Jose Rizal is considered the greatest Filipino because of his exceptional influence on the nation's mind, spirits, and history. His ideas helped shape Philippine identity and inspired the struggle for freedom in a way that continued long after his death. International respect and leadership. Rizal gained admiration not only in the Philippines but also in Europe and other countries for his intelligence, professionalism, and character. Many scholars and leaders of his time saw him as the leading representative of the Filipino people, calling him the most prominent man of his race. And power of his writings, through work like No Limitang Heri and El Filibusterismo, Rizal exposed the abuses of Spanish colonial rule and awakened Filipino nationalism. And that's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Morning, ma'am. My name is Hannah P. Bilbisridis. My assigned topic of Jose Rizal and the Philippine nationalism, Bayani and Kabayanihan. The question of now is who made Rizal the foremost hero of the Philippines? D. Ocampo writes no single person or group of persons were responsible for making the greatest Malayan the number one hero of these people. Rizal himself, his own people, and the foreigners altogether contribute, make him the greatest hero and the martyr of these people. Why Jose Rizal is considered the foremost hero of the Philippines, even compared to other heroes like Andres Bonifacio. Rizal's weapon was his kill pin, making him a pacifist and civilian hero, unlike military leaders from other countries. Rafael Palma argues that Filipinos should be proud to have a hero with Rizal qualities. His pen was mightier than the sword in redeeming the people from political slavery. Why Bonifacio revolution shook of foreign power? It was Rizal's spiritual redemption through his writing that had more durable and permanent effect. And Prof. Volmentrit considered Rizal the most prominent man of his own people and the greatest man in the Malayan race has produced. The text aimed to disprove claims that Rizal was an American-made hero and explain why is the greater than other Filipino heroes, including Andres Bonifacio. D. Ocampo in this state, the Rizal himself, his people, and foreigners all contribute to making him the greatest hero and martyr of his people. His inherent qualities and merits and as described by Palma and Ritania were initial. Thank you.